Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors at Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is some updates coming from London. Thank you to our reporter Dave Nathan for his coverage from the crime scenes that will help me explain what has happened. The first story that I'm going to be covering is about the death of a 17-year-old boy that died in a crash in Holston on Thursday, August the 5th. The teenager was driving a moped on Church Road and he suffered fatal injuries after he came off and emergency services responded, but he has now died on the 7th of August in hospital. What I would like to point out in this story is the fact that people recorded him while he was on the floor, seriously injured and being tended to by paramedics. I'm not sure if people understood the severity of his injuries, but he's now gone on to die, and this video that was circulated is of a dead man. So I'd appreciate it if anybody that has shared that video, please remove it from your social medias. Out of respect for this person's sisters or cousins, they could be really young and they could see him dying on the floor. A spokesman for Metropolitan Police says, police were called at 10 to 6 on Thursday the 5th of August to reports of a rider falling off his bike on Church Road. Officers on London Ambulance Service and London Air Ambulance attended, and they found the 17-year-old boy had sustained serious injuries. He was treated at the scene and taken to a central London hospital where he died 2 days later. Detective Sergeant Andrew Sains from the North West CID said, "This is a tragic investigation and our thoughts are with the young man's family. We believe there was a number of people in the area at the time and they are still appealing for witnesses." Something to point out as well is definitely witnesses pointed out the fact that they'd seen a Rambo knife, and police had actually put this into an evidence bag along with 2 other pieces of evidence at the scene. This knife was removed from the 17-year-old's waist. And another thing to point out as well is the fact that this crime scene has been up for 2 days. This is a very long time in relation to a car crash or moped accident in the local area for there to be a police presence. And the police are not releasing a lot of information in relation to the investigation. So as of yet, I'm not going to show a picture of the man on the floor, so I'm not going to be able to ID him, and no name has been given as of yet. But I'll definitely give you an update on that young man's name and his identity as the story develops. So my condolences to his family and friends, and it's a sad loss to see a young man taken away so soon. In some other news that was attended by our reporter Dave Nathan in Newham on Henniker Road, there was multiple people stabbed and one was fatal. Detectives were called at 1:40 in the morning on Friday the 6th of August to reports of a stabbing in E15. Officers attended with the London Ambulance Service and found 2 men with stab injuries. A 23-year-old man has suffered a stab wound to the neck and was pronounced dead at the scene. His next of kin have been informed and have been supported by specially trained police. A 19-year-old man was taken to hospital where his condition is assessed as non-life-threatening. Detectives from the Metropolitan Crime Command are leading the investigation, and a crime scene remains in place and no arrests have been made yet. Detective Inspector Perry Benton said, "This is the early stage of the investigation and we are carrying out inquiries to piece together the events that led to the death of this young man. Officers remain in the area doing house-to-house inquiries and identifying CCTV, and they have already spoken to a number of witnesses and they are appealing for more." Chief Inspector Richard Tucker said he understands the concern about the incident in the local area and the community, and they'd like to reassure people they're doing all they can to increase patrols in the area. Since news of the murderers broke, tributes have been paid to a rapper called Smokes, aka Stick Up, who represented BWC from the Newham area. They're associated to 7th, but they're not directly 7th. A lot of blogs have posted about the fact that 7th members have paid respects to Smoke as well, but he's not been identified officially. This is just locally. He appeared on Mixtape Madness and several other media channels over the years with different drill songs as well and collaborations with various artists. So I'll send my condolences to the friends and family of the victim, and we'll keep you updated if there's any charges with that case. And in some other news coming from West London, last night on the 7th of August, a 15-year-old is in a life-threatening condition after he was taken to hospital after a stabbing in West Harrow Park. This occurred at 8:30 PM and London Ambulance Service and Air Ambulance attended and treated a 17-year-old also with knife wounds at the scene. but his injuries are not thought to be life-threatening. And thank you to our reporter Dave Nathan for attending the scene to get the footage of the forensics in action. There was also another stabbing on the 31st of July on Station Road in Harrow, and officers attended after a man was coming out of a nearby pub with stab wounds. They found no trace of the victim and they're trying to locate him. A 23-year-old was arrested for criminal damage at the scene of that crime as well. So that's 3 stabbings in a short space of time in that area. And in some news coming from North London in Palmer's Green, police cordoned off a street after 2 shots were fired. Officers were called at 7:15 to Alderman's Hill near the Triangle after reports of a male with a gun. A witness reported hearing 2 separate gunshots in the area, but when police arrived they found no victim and no suspect. The road has now reopened since that incident as well, and no arrests have been made following on from that. And this comes after the Mayor of London has made a big promotion for the amount of guns they've took off the streets in London. I reported on the website the other day about 8 firearms that were taken off the streets in a proactive operation by Metropolitan Police. 2 of these firearms are actually blank firers, but they don't specify that in the report because it doesn't look as good. This is a massive promotion by the Commissioner and the Mayor to make it look like they're doing something about knife crime and gang violence. They say they've been on proactive patrols in Newham, East London, and it has resulted in the detention and arrest of a 19-year-old for possession with intent to supply Class B drugs. So this big operation, Operation Viper, has arrested a 19-year-old with some cannabis. The arrest took place to identify and disrupt gang violence. Officers targeted known gang members that are linked to violence this week. And they say they arrested a second 22-year-old man who received a postal requisition charge for possessing Class B drugs. So that's 2 people they arrested in one day for this whole operation for cannabis. This is a bit embarrassing, to be honest. They say they've made a record number of seizures. 450 firearms were taken off the streets of London, a city that doesn't have legal firearms, compared to the 366 from the previous year. They say that 98 firearms were taken in the first quarter of this year off the streets of London, and Cressida Dick and Mayor Sadiq Khan were taking part in the operation targeting gun crime. They say 45 warrants were executed this week, and they found shotguns and also ammunition. So the Mayor and the Commissioner are doing a lot to make it look like they're combating violence on the street. But I really want to hear from everybody what you think about what they're doing and if it's effective, and also what we can be doing to try to help the kids and prevent this. So I really appreciate you joining me today. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow us online as well at Scarcity Studios. And I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.